I cannot believe I am saying this. I cannot believe I'm about to say something. Therein lies the problem. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
I think you got to be like that, man. When you got a girl like Caitlin on your team and you got a star on your team.
Caitlin Clark just dropped a bombshell on the WNBA, and the fallout is shaking the league to its core. Furious over Sophie Cunningham's suspension.
And the Great White Hope did not disappoint.
Clark didn't hold back, exposing the league's glaring double standards and lack of accountability.
Like I said, this has been a massive problem for the WNBA.
It's a wake-up call for a league teetering on the edge of chaos.
I cannot stand the WNBA. Most of the time, the pretend basketball players in this league look like untrained professional wrestlers.
The tension hit its peak on June 17, 2025, when the Indiana Fever faced the Connecticut Sun. It wasn't just basketball. It was chaos wrapped in controversy.
Additionally, Sophie Cunningham was fined separately for her hard foul with 40 seconds left to play. There was a lot of stuff. Tensions were high. That was the moment for Sophie to commit a hard foul.
Sophie Cunningham, known around the league as the Enforcer, delivered a flagrant 2 foul on J.C. Sheldon in the closing seconds of the game. This wasn't a casual foul. It was the kind that had people gasping, players fuming, and fans taking sides. The Fever may have won the game 88-71, but by the end, basketball seemed like the least important part of the night.
You got to find a way to continue to shoot and remain confident in myself, because I know I put the time in, but for me, I don't feel like it's anything that's off necessarily.
Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's biggest star and the undisputed face of the league, didn't mince words afterward. Her frustration with the league's silence on these escalating incidents was palpable. For her, this wasn't just another rough game, it was a breaking point. Clark has dealt with more than her fair share of physical plays and questionable calls, but this game exposed what she's been fighting against all along, a system that benefits from her greatness but refuses to protect her.
For that to be your best player, you gotta protect the best player. All of the bigs, because usually the bigs are the ones that enforce picks, hard fouls, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like this, but not just the bigs, but I wanted all of us to be on the same page as far as how we protect each other out here.
Sophie Cunningham, on the other hand, leaned fully into her reputation as the league's resident protector or aggressor, depending on who you ask. "I'd do anything to protect my teammate," she said unapologetically after the game. Some fans rallied behind her, seeing her actions as a necessary defense of Caitlin Clark, who has been targeted time and time again. Others were less forgiving, labeling Cunningham's behavior unsportsmanlike and calling for harsher consequences.
Aftermath to all of that, it has been less than 48 hours, and so much has happened.
The league's response, or lack thereof, was even more shocking. Despite the heated brawl and Cunningham's blatant foul, there were no suspensions handed down. Instead, fines were issued: $400+ for Cunningham, $400 for Marina Mabrey, and $200 for Sheldon. For an incident that left such a dark cloud over the game, this felt like a slap on the wrist, a decision that only added fuel to the fire.
But Caitlin Clark came out the gates and put up some numbers we've never seen before.
And here's where it gets even more frustrating. The numbers don't lie. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's the lifeline of the WNBA. When she was briefly sidelined due to an injury, league viewership plummeted by a staggering 55%. That's not a dip, it's a free fall. The league relies on her to pack arenas, sell merchandise, and keep fans glued to their screens. Yet, when it comes to protecting her on the court, their actions or inactions send a very different message.
If the refs would have gotten control of the game much earlier on, and I do think if they would have ejected Marina Mabrey during that whole play when she completely blindsided Caitlin, it wasn't a basketball play, it was after the whistle. If she would have been ejected at that point in time, I think it would have set the tone for the rest of the game.
This incident wasn't just a game, it was a wake-up call. It exposed the double standards, the lack of accountability, and the growing divide between the league's stars and its administration. For Caitlin Clark, it was more than just a foul or a brawl. It was another reminder that the WNBA is willing to profit from her star power without giving her the respect and protection she deserves.
I can't stand how the media portrays pretend basketball. This league is amazing!
Sophie Cunningham may have declared herself a defender of her team, but the fallout from this game, left everyone questioning what the league truly values: its players or its reputation.
The game was chippy from the jump. It was physical from the jump. There were dirty plays that were happening from the jump.
The June 17th game didn't just spark a brawl, it ignited a firestorm, and Caitlin Clark was done playing nice. Post-game, Clark's reaction was everything you'd expect from a player who carries the weight of an entire league on her shoulders.
And the referees didn't do their job. And because they didn't do their job properly, all of the extra things happened during the game.
She called out the WNBA in no uncertain terms, questioning how a league that benefits so heavily from her presence could stand by and let her get battered game after game. Enough is enough, she seemed to be saying, and fans couldn't have agreed more.
The first white superstar at the levels where she's scoring these, the threes she's shooting. She's like a Steph Curry. She's the first actual superstar that people care.
This wasn't the first time Clark had faced questionable treatment on the court, but this incident felt different. It was personal, raw, and quite frankly, avoidable. Fans immediately rallied behind her, launching the Protect Caitlin Clark campaign across social media. Tweets, hashtags, and slow-motion replays of the foul-flooded timelines, with fans dissecting every angle to prove what should have been obvious. Clark wasn't just being fouled, she was being targeted.
This is why the WNBA is never, ever, ever going to work.
For the WNBA's most marketable player to feel unprotected isn't just bad optics. It's a systemic failure, and the numbers back it up. This isn't just about a player being sidelined. It's about a league potentially sabotaging its future. When Clark was injured earlier this season, viewership dropped by a jaw-dropping 55%. That's not just a warning sign, that's an air raid siren. One player sits out and over half of the audience disappears. The WNBA doesn't just need Caitlin Clark, it depends on her.
The WNBA is hot, hot, hot.
So how does the league respond to this? By issuing fines. That's right, no suspensions, no major shakeups, just some pocket change penalties that felt more like a pat on the back than actual discipline. Now let's pause for a second. Cunningham's actions led to ejections and an all-out brawl. But a $400 fine? That's less than the cost of a courtside ticket to watch Caitlin Clark play. Fans were understandably furious, and for good reason. The league's decision not to issue any suspensions sent a clear message. The WNBA wasn't willing to take this seriously.
I really don't want this to go to that extreme level where now people are saying just crazy things, because this has been around in the WNBA for a long time.
And the fallout? Oh, it was loud. Social media erupted with fans and analysts alike slamming the WNBA for its perceived leniency. Was the league playing favorites? Was it trying to avoid a scandal by downplaying the incident? Whatever the reason, the damage was done. Fans felt ignored, Clark felt unprotected, and the league's priorities were under intense scrutiny.
Angel Reese and Brittany Griner, they walk around like the league owes them something. Even Ryan Clark's attitude as if, bro, where's the victimhood? These are freaking millionaires.
But the bigger picture here is what's truly concerning. Clark's treatment isn't just a one-off incident. It's emblematic of deeper issues within the WNBA. The league loves to tout its stars when it comes to marketing campaigns and ticket sales, but when those same stars need protection, the silence is deafening.
Haul her racist ass back to Russia.
This isn't just about Caitlin Clark. It's about the message being sent to every player in the league. If the WNBA won't protect its biggest draw, what hope do other players have? And what about the young girls watching these games, dreaming of one day playing professionally? The league's failure to act sets a dangerous precedent, one that could ripple far beyond this season.
The referee should have enough confidence in the calls that they made to at least discuss. You should be able to at least discuss something with...
At the end of the day, this isn't just a story about fines or fouls. It's about a league at a crossroads. The WNBA has a chance to step up, to show that it values its players and their safety. But until it does, incidents like this will continue to cast a shadow over the game. Caitlin Clark's breaking point isn't just a moment, it's a movement. And the WNBA would do well to pay attention.
I guess that you're doing that with Caitlin, but I'm so confused as to why you wouldn't be doing bigger campaigns with her.
Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player. She's the WNBA's lifeline. It's one-woman economic stimulus package. Don't believe it? Let's talk numbers. When Clark steps on the court, arenas that used to struggle with empty seats are now packed to capacity. Her jersey? It's the top-selling item of any athlete in any sport, and that's not hyperbole. The league's viewership has soared by triple digits since her arrival, turning what was once a niche league into must-watch television.
Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport?
But here's where it gets ugly, the hypocrisy. The WNBA is quick to plaster her face on promotional campaigns, milk her star power for ticket sales, and cash in on the millions of fans she's brought to the game. Yet when it comes to protecting her on the court, crickets. It's like building a golden goose shrine while letting the fox roam free.
She's had on the WNBA, but this news is alarming for the league.
And the numbers don't lie. When Clark was sidelined with an injury earlier this season, league viewership dropped by 55%. Let that sink in. Over half of the audience vanished. Because one player wasn't in the game. That's not just a player, that's the market. Yet despite her massive impact, the league seems content to let her fend for herself against increasingly hostile treatment.
The WNBA and their pretend friends in the mainstream media, they have wasted the last 12, 13 months trying to make Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado into something they are clearly not.
Now let's talk about this so-called rivalry with Angel Reese and others. Rivalries are supposed to be thrilling, the kind of back-and-forth drama that elevates the sport. Think Bird versus Magic or Federer versus Nadal. What Clark faces isn't that. It's not respect-fueled competition. It's hostility, plain and simple.
And she wasn't able to get into rhythm.
Remember Angel Reese's infamous flagrant foul? That wasn't a heat-of-the-moment play. It was a message, and not a good one. Instead of pushing each other to be better, opponents seem more focused on dragging Clark down. The result? A toxic narrative that does nothing for the league's image and everything to pile more stress on Clark. And let's not overlook the toll this takes. Clark has always been a confident, trash-talking competitor, but lately, there's a visible shift in her demeanor. The joy, the spark. It's dimmed, replaced by the weight of constant criticism and physical targeting. It's the kind of emotional toll that no player, no matter how great, should have to endure.
So to me, I don't know. I just love the fact that there's animosity.
This isn't just bad sportsmanship, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what rivalries should be. Rivals make each other better. They don't tear each other down. But in the WNBA, it seems like Clark's greatness is treated as a threat, not an asset. So where does this leave us? With a league that relies on one player to stay afloat, but refuses to give her the respect, protection, or environment she needs to thrive. If the WNBA doesn't course correct soon, it risks losing not just Clark, but the future of women's basketball itself. And that's a loss none of us can afford.
But Caitlin Clark came out the gates and you put up some numbers we've never seen before.
Let's face it, Caitlin Clark leaving the WNBA would be like taking the sun out of the solar system. Yet rumors are swirling that she's considering a dramatic exit. And honestly, can you blame her? The allure of Europe is strong, bigger paychecks, greater respect, and a lot less drama. While the WNBA struggles to figure out how to protect its stars, European leagues have mastered the art of treating their players like royalty. And Clark? She's the kind of talent that would dominate wherever she goes. But the plot thickens. Whispers of a billionaire-backed rival league are getting louder. Imagine a league built around Clark's brilliance. One where she's not just the star, but the cornerstone of its identity. The so-called billionaire's gambit theory is as audacious as it is intriguing. What if a wealthy investor offered Clark a massive deal to sit out and watch the WNBA collapse under its own mismanagement? Or better yet, used her as the face of a rival league that could do everything the WNBA seems unwilling to?
There's people in there making noises, they're yelling, they're booing. In her defense, she's never seen fans before. Stephen A. Smith?
This isn't just idle speculation. It's a pointed critique of the WNBA's dependency on Clark. Her potential exit would be the ultimate mic drop, exposing the league's reliance on her for viewership, sponsorships, and credibility. The message would be clear: protect your stars or risk losing everything they bring to the table.
End of the day, these millions of fans who are coming in want to see a good product on the court. They want to see the product that they fell in love with. They want to see fast basketball. They want to see three-pointers.
And the fallout? Oh, it would be catastrophic. The WNBA would face a massive viewership nosedive, a sponsorship exodus, and a credibility crisis that might be impossible to recover from. When over half your audience tunes in for one player, what happens when she's gone? And let's not forget the message this sends to the next generation of players. Greatness will be punished, not celebrated. The league's failure to prioritize safety and professionalism doesn't just hurt Clark, it poisons the well for everyone. Young players watching these games are learning the harsh reality of what awaits them in professional women's basketball, a reality that's far from inspiring. If Clark leaves, it's not just the WNBA that suffers. Women's basketball as a whole could take a hit, but her departure could also spark something new, a revolution in how women's sports are managed and valued. Clark's exit might just be the wake-up call the WNBA needs to finally step up and protect its stars. In the end, the clock is ticking. The WNBA's mishandling of this situation has put the league at a crossroads. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to get more updates of the WNBA season 2025.